the U.S. currently has very important objectives in Syria. First and foremost, they want a stable Syria. They want a Syria that will enable economic development. They want a Syria that is not going to be a hotbed for terrorism. And they want a Syria that is not going to be part of the Iranian axis. For all of that, they invested a lot in Syria. You just saw last month Ahmed al-Sharaa visit in Washington, the first visit by Syrian presidents in Washington. And you see from Trump's tweets, from Trump's statements, that he very likes Mr. al-Sharaa. He also said in the first meeting when they had in Saudi Arabia back in May, a very nice guy, very handsome guy. So you see that the U.S. has invested a lot in this. Basically, you have, from recent months, you have economic development agreements already in Syria, all that reflect U.S. interests. Now, with all of that, as Yaakov mentioned and others, basically Israel, from the get-go, saw Syria as a threat, saw the new regime as a threat, saw the Turkish involvement as a threat, all valid threats for Israel. But, in the past 2 years and since October 7, of course, we chose the military tool because it was a very important one. But sometimes, as I think I also wrote that, when you only have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So Israel sort of implemented that lesson to Syria, and we sort of considered only the military tool to actually address those challenges and those threats. I don't have any, purview if Israel has reached out to the al-Sharaa regime directly and if we had any conversation on military cooperation, but it seems like we very, very quickly went on the military route.
And bombed the presidential palace in Damascus, or just next door anyway. Okay, thanks, Nadav. So let me bring that back to you then, Yaakov. I mean, a stable neighbor is a good neighbor, right? Is Israel actively preventing Syria from getting back on its feet and becoming a normal country?
Look, this is obviously a complicated debate, and I agree that we shouldn't only rely on military's action when we're dealing with our neighbors. But I think first and foremost, if the prerogative is don't have jihadists on the border, whether they're Sunni, Jama'a Islamiyah, whether they're Shiite militia members, or whether they're actually Turkish-backed jihadist elements that have integrated into the Syrian army. And if you look at the makeup of the Syrian army, it has over 20 senior jihadist commanders in it. They've taken part in atrocities against the Druze. So the facts on the ground can't be ignored. Now, if the new al-Sharaa government is willing to accept a demilitarized zone south of Damascus, if it's willing to commit to that, then perhaps there is room for compromise, some sort of halfway agreement. But if they insist on mobilizing their forces close to the Israeli border, then I don't think we're going to have a deal. Because really, I think, again, this core lesson of not having forces whose intentions we cannot predict and should not try to predict so close to the border, I think that security has to trump every other consideration, especially in the post-October 7th calculus that Israel is under right now.
Don't give them the benefit of the doubt.
Can't predict their next move.